So our good friend Kendrick Perkins is back on the scene, and to kick off 2023 right, he's come out guns blazing with some horrendous takes. As recently, after the Lakers beat the Clippers in overtime for the first time since 2020, Perkins took that single victory as clear-cut proof as to why LeBron James actually is greater than Michael Jordan. And in Perkins' own words, he says this game is why LeBron James is the GOAT, because your GOAT wasn't doing this at 38 years of age. We've been searching and trying to find a person to take over the throne and be the face of the league, and we can't put a finger on that yet. Look, the bar for Kendrick Perkins is extremely low. And for Perk, I expect nothing less. Now, first off, there's plenty of guys in the NBA who are quote-unquote faces of the league, from Giannis and Jokic all the way to Tatum and Luka. I would say for the NBA media though, the Lakers and LeBron James still are the center of the universe. Now, with that out of the way, I find Perkins' take right here very hypocritical, as a random win on a Tuesday, using that as proof LeBron James is the greatest. Where is that same energy when he loses in the playoffs? Because last year in the West Finals when he got swept, in embarrassing fashion mind you, these same people, these same analysts, said that loss didn't affect him or his overall legacy. It's almost like these people are massive hypocrites and have no standards. And the narrative ESPN is pushing heavily for really the past 4 years, and Perkins especially, is that Michael Jordan compared to LeBron James at 36, 37, 38 was doing what LeBron James did at that same age. At this point, it's pretty exhausting and downright desperate, because the overall crux of this argument is looking at LeBron and Jordan really past their prime in their late 30s. And I do find it funny, these same LeBron fans, ESPN talking heads, they will never debate LeBron versus Jordan at their peak. That means late 20s, early 30s. Put that LeBron versus that Jordan, they never debate that. What they love though, and can't get enough of, is Wizards Jordan versus Lakers LeBron. And look, when it comes to peak Jordan, prime Jordan versus LeBron James, I think it's pretty settled at this point. Jordan in his prime accomplished much more and peaked slightly higher. As looking at 91 Jordan, debatably the best version of Jordan. That year, he averaged 31.1 points, 8.4 assists, 6.4 boards, 2 steals and a block on 52-39 and 85 splits. And his Bulls team in the playoffs went 15-1 with MJ winning the MVP, being first team all defense and a leading scorer for the postseason. In terms of overall dominance all around play, scoring, facilitating efficiency, it's all right there in 1991. Even looking at 92 Jordan the very next year, debatably, he got even better. Again, winning MVP, being first team all defense, third defensive player of the year, averaged 34.5 points per game, 6.2 boards, 5.8 assists on nearly 50, 40, 90 splits. The day Kendrick Perkins and ESPN acknowledges these facts is the day hell will freeze over. And look, I'll give them this. LeBron at 38, yes, is better than Jordan at 38. Is the gap as big as they think it is? No, not even close. But yes, LeBron at 38 was the better player. Now with that in mind, compare age 26 Jordan, age 30 Jordan, even age 33 Jordan to LeBron James. Go prime for prime, not post-prime versus post-prime. And again, looking at Wizards Jordan, before his injury, he wasn't some bum just kind of waltzing his way through the NBA. He was pretty much dominating at an all-star level. And compared to some guys like Vince Carter, Antoine Walker, he was on their tier. And historically speaking, age 38 Jordan, at worst a top 5 player at that age, up there with Kareem and Karl Malone as great players past their prime. And look, when it comes to Kendrick Perkins, I was a little bit curious. Does his love for longevity apply to his whole top 10 all-time players list? And of course, as you could have guessed, it doesn't, because Perkins, of course, has zero standards, and the overall longevity argument only applies to LeBron versus Jordan. As looking at his list, he had Larry Bird 5th all time despite only 12 healthy seasons, and Magic Johnson ranked 4th all time despite being done at age 32. Now, why that's important is Kobe and Duncan are a few spots behind them despite having much better longevity, Kobe playing 20 years, and Tim Duncan at 38 winning a championship and making the all-defensive team. If you think LeBron's better than Jordan, go ahead, have at it. I heavily disagree, but that's your opinion. My problem with these guys though, the longevity stuff doesn't apply to every player in NBA history. It's only LeBron versus Jordan. And like I said with Perkins earlier, he's pushed this narrative for close to 5 years. And back in 2020, he falsely claimed Michael Jordan at age 35 was, quote, not competing for championships. Well, half true, half false, because one, Jordan wasn't just competing for championships, he was actually winning them, in the process carrying his Bulls team. As looking at 98 MJ, he was the MVP, first team all defense at age 35 mind you, averaged 32.4 points a game, most in the playoffs, 5.1 boards, nearly 4 assists, 2 steals, on 46% shooting. So I guess you could say Michael Jordan at age 35, really past his prime, was still highly effective. And look, in the last 8 years of LeBron James, he's only won one championship, that being in 2020, under some very odd circumstances, I'll put it nicely. If you compare LeBron's last championship versus Jordan's last championship, those guys' teammate help is drastically different. As on Jordan's Bulls, leading the oldest team in the NBA, Scottie Pippen, had a bad back shooting 41%, Tony Kukoc averaged 13 a game was a defensive liability, and guys like Luke Longley, Ron Harper was third and fourth options on offense. And looking at Dennis Rodman, he was in his late 30s over the hill and benched past the East Finals. Compare that to the 2020 Lakers, who were in the bubble. Anthony Davis actually was the leading scorer of that team and their best defender. And depth-wise, they had KCP, Rondo, Danny Green, and even Kyle Kuzma. And in comparing Jordan versus LeBron from age 35 to 39, their overall accolades and accomplishments really aren't that different. Both won one championship, of course Jordan's was harder, one Finals MVP, Jordan's was more iconic, Michael Jordan was first team all defense, LeBron was 0 times, and Jordan of course had one scoring title. I mean, in terms of tangible accomplishments, it's really not that different. And if we look at the stats, like Kendrick Perkins said, LeBron at age 38 was much better than Jordan, and Michael Jordan couldn't have done this. Now, what Perkins was talking about was overall scoring, as versus the Clippers' LeBron had 35 points. But looking at the actual numbers, Michael Jordan at 38 plus had 7 games of 40 plus points and 1 game cracking 50. LeBron at this point, since turning 38, scored 40 plus points 5 times and not once cracked 50. And to add some very important context, back in 02-03 for Jordan, teams weren't scoring 120 points, 130 points. At most, maybe 110, 115, which in today's league is commonplace. Jordan cracking 40, 50 points at that age, I would say is much more impressive than doing that in today's league. And the fact Jordan at age 38 had more 40-point games, 50-point games than LeBron James, again shows Wizards MJ wasn't as bad as you think. And if you put him in today's NBA at this pace, the spacing, the overall high-powered offenses, I think 38-year-old Jordan healthy is 25, 27 points pretty easily. As even back in 03, when healthy, he was averaging 24.6 points per game. So that right there is the end of the video. Once again, Kendrick Perkins is a clown, has no standards or consistency. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.